So recently, Update 52 dropped, and we got a whole lot of new content. But before jumping into Frontier Legends, I wanted to do a deep dive into the Herald of Everfrost, while also testing its performance against bosses and in free play. So let's get right into it. Okay, starting off with the basics, the Herald costs 300k on medium, which when factoring in the price of the tier 5s, it's just under 400k without discounts. So it's cheaper than the Bomb Paragon, but slightly more expensive than the Dart, Tack and Boomer Paragons. The Herald attacks with an Ice Lance beam that behaves similarly to the Golden Justice's projectile, but it freezes and applies icicles to everything below a bad, while also shooting rings of ice shards as it travels. The freeze always lasts 10 seconds regardless of balloon type, but the number of ice ring shards scale with the Herald's attack speed. A degree 1 fires a total of 6 rings per shot, while a degree 60 fires 10. External attack speed bonuses work on it as well, since when a degree 1 is given the Glaive Dominus's buff, it increases the number of ice shard rings from 6 to 7. There we go, I said it. Okay, but on every 4th attack, the Herald unleashes a Snowstorm Roar that freezes everything on the map below a bad, while also applying all of the top pass debuffs. Most of the debuffs are the same as their base counterparts, however the damage vulnerability is buffed from a +4 to a +10, while also adding a +40 on top of that to freezing attacks. Not only it beats every other damage debuff in the game by a landslide, but it nearly doubles the +12 maximum bonus that you can get from combining all the alternatives together. And given it stacks with Embrittlements and Super Brittle's debuff, it increases the damage bonus cap by 83.33%, or 55.56% when factoring in the True Sun Gods and Permabruise damage buffs. Even with the Degree 1 and Paragon of Power MK disabled, the debuff still has 100% uptime, so you don't need to purchase higher degrees or an external attack speed bonus to improve the uptime of the debuff. However, the debuff only stays active if the Herald is consistently attacking, so it may be beneficial to place it at the front of the track or near a key choke point to keep balloons inside its somewhat small range. The ice platforms though don't face range restrictions, and you can place land monkeys anywhere, including here, there, and over here. Okay, maybe not the last one, but you get the point. It's global. Oh yeah, and it has its own Arctic Aura that slows balloons down by 90%, and non-bad blimps by 45%. Now hands down, the best part of the Ice Paragon has to be its activated ability, the Eclipse of Fimbulwinter. As you can tell by the name, it causes an eclipse, and after 5 seconds, freezes everything. The main difference between this freeze and other freezes is that it can affect bads and bosses, albeit for half the time. But somehow, that isn't the best thing about it, because it can also delete boss skulls. Yes, you heard me right, you can straight up skip any boss's gimmick at the click of a button. Is Bloonarius about to spawn minions? Yeah, nah. Dreadbloon swapping immunities and spawning a rock shield? I don't think so. Or Blast wants to overheat itself and spawn some rocks? You guessed it, denied. And it works for the other 3 bosses as well, disabling their shields and preventing them from jumping or becoming invulnerable. The only things that truly counter the ability is Dreadbloon's primary immunity, and timing the ability poorly. Yeah, while the ability is amazing and all, the freeze only lasts for 5 seconds, and it takes an extra 5 seconds to charge up, so you have to time it perfectly if you want to skip the skull. And I will be honest, I struggled with the timing at first as well. Did I do it? Oh you fucking On top of that, the ability also has a 90-second base cooldown, can only be used once per round, and you can only skip the effects of 1 skull per boss tier. But it's warranted given how powerful the ability is. Speaking of bosses, the Herald opens up shed loads of new strategies, while making existing ones better. Obviously as a support Paragon, its raw boss DPS isn't the greatest. However, the +10 damage boost and skull freezing ability does wonders for anything that fires shed loads of projectiles. One thing I have to give the Herald credit for though, is that it hard counters Blastopopolis. On top of its already strong bonuses, the base attack provides enough cooling that Blastopopolis never overheated in its presence. Even if you get close to that though, the Eclipse ability removes all heat, so it's still extremely useful to spam. Now, like I said in bossing, the Herald's low single target DPS makes it struggle a lot in free play. A Degree 1 died to the round 119 bads, while the Degree 100 fell to the F-bad on round 140. But like the Bomb Paragon, the utility of its debuffs and abilities are the true star of the show here, and the Herald is exponentially better when used alongside other Paragons. Okay, I didn't know where to put this, but does Sylas's buff synergize with the Herald? Well, yes, but not directly. Most of Sylas's buffs are ignored because obviously, it's a Paragon. But his level 13 provides a discount to the tier 5s, while allowing the purchase of an additional tier 5. However, cheap degrees is not worth sacrificing Geraldo or Ben in a boss event. But wrapping up my thoughts, the new Herald of Everfrost has to be one of the most busted Paragons Ninja has released in a while. Obviously, it's a must-buy in boss events, especially if you're using a projectile-heavy strategy. However, in its current state, I wouldn't be surprised if the Herald receives a nerf or two in Update 53.0. But it's better being remembered as being overpowered on launch, rather than being weak and forgotten about. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.